How can you become a god and manage more than 100 CEOs?
Hey Tom, it's the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. First I want to say congratulations on your YouTube channel. Everybody needs to follow your YouTube channel. So what everyone needs to do is subscribe to Tom Peng. Great guy, great person. Tom, keep up the great work.
Today, I'm going to talk about this one person in Japan. He is a high school dropout. He never finished high school. But today, he manages about 100 companies and more. And in his group, there are 101 CEOs. Including him, that's 102 CEOs. That is a pretty amazing story. How can anybody become so powerful that he is actually managing 101 CEOs, 101 companies, and making tons of money and building the future of cloud computing in Japan all at the same time? The person I'm talking about today is Masatoshi Kumagai. Masatoshi Kumagai is a high school dropout. And today he manages over 100 internet cloud computing companies in Japan. He's actually in the merger and acquisition space. This is a space that I want to get into. In 2019, I started doing merger and acquisition. I want to buy technology companies. Of course, COVID kind of get in the way. So in order for me to do the M&A business, I have to be periodically back in Canada because I have to meet the companies I want to buy. And that kind of stopped that effort. So currently that initiative is currently on hold. But Masatoshi, we'll just say his first name because he has a long name, and I'll just say his first name for brevity. Masatoshi is in the merger and acquisition business, and he's able to find the money and find the financing, and he's buying out these internet computing businesses. And today he has accumulated 101 businesses in that space. Let me just give you some numbers. In 2019, his combined companies produced about 196.2 billion yen. That's Japanese yen. I don't know how much that is in Vietnamese dong or US dollar. I'm not going to try to convert that, but it's a lot of money. And they have about 200,000 employees. They're getting there. They're getting to about 200,000 employees. So that's a pretty big organization. So a high school dropout can build an organization that's 200,000 people strong and making almost 200 billion yen. That's fucking crazy. So how does he do it? Again, I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm sharing information that is recorded by Bloomberg. I will share the article down in the link below in the description area. First of all, he is a high school dropout. He did not do very well in school. He's ashamed of it. He feels very bad about not performing well in school. At the age of 21, he was already married and he has a child. And he was living in a shit apartment. Shit apartment. He was living in a tiny little crappy apartment that belonged to his father's company. So life was hard for Masatoshi. One day he saw his wife working really hard as a waitress. Also have to pick up the kids from school. Life was not easy. On that day, Masatoshi decided that he's going to create a plan. He's going to create a company. He doesn't even know what company. He doesn't even know what space that he's going to get into. But he just knows that he's going to create a company and he's going to take that company public by the age of 35. Did it happen? By the age of 36, he actually made it happen. 1 year late. But that's okay, right? 1 year late. By the age of 36, he launched his first company, made it public. It was listing on the Tokyo Nikkei Stock Exchange, I think. I can tell you more about what happened, but in the interest of brevity, because we were trying to make this video within 10 minutes, from age of 36 to age 50, he's almost 50 years old now, he purchased many companies and he built this massive organization with 101 CEOs. How do you manage 101 CEOs? How do you manage an organization that's 200,000 people strong? Now, this is what we're going to talk about today. Before I talk about that, I want to point out that Masatoshi think very long term. Even when he was in his 20s, he knew that he's going to take his company public by the age of 35. So maybe that's like 15 years that he has to achieve that goal. Very important. Successful people think long term. They don't think today, tomorrow, next week. They think 10 years, 20 years, maybe even 50 years. You have to think very long term. Where do you want to be in 20 years? And actually have a plan, milestones to get there. It happens to all successful people. They must have a very long-term plan, and they also have intermediary goals every step of the way getting to that final goal. How do you manage a company that's 200,000 people strong and with 101 CEO? When you're operating at that level, you are not managing at the operational level. In fact, Masatoshi does not manage at the operational level. He doesn't care about the operational level. He just hires good people. The good people, keyword here is good people. If they're shit, it doesn't work. The good people, they have the autonomy and the authority and the freedom to execute, but it must follow something called GMOism. GMOism. GMO is the name of the organization that Masatoshi has created. It's called GMO Internet. When you're the CEO at that level, you cannot manage every micro detail. Basically, Masatoshi creates a lot of rules. There are a lot of rules in this organization. These are called GMOisms. You must follow those rules. For any CEO, for any company in his big organization, they must follow these rules. Everything else he doesn't care about. Everyone in his companies must follow GMOism, follow his rules. Everything else doesn't matter. The teams, the companies have freedom to execute the way they want, as long as they get results. Key again here is as long as they get results, but they must follow certain rules. What are those rules? Masatoshi says it's like a fucking religion. It's a religion. It's like a cult. The CEOs of the 101 companies, they are priests in a religion. So that makes Masatoshi, and he said this himself, that makes him the Jesus Christ of this religion. Basically, he's the spiritual leader. He is the mindset driver. He make people have the right mindset, believe in the same values, follow the same directions. Everything else he doesn't care about. And this is how he builds this very large organization with 200,000 people and 101 companies. So this Masatoshi guy runs this GMO Internet. He's almost 50 years old, but you know what? He looks probably 10 years younger, kind of like me. I'm almost 50 years old, but I look maybe 40-ish, maybe younger, I don't know. Not with this beard. Actually, a lot of analysts and critics say that GMOism, the philosophy, the religion that Masatoshi created for his big, huge organization, is basically a remnant of the Japanese way of doing businesses. If you think about big Japanese organizations like Mitsubishi, like Sony, those big organizations also operate in the same way. They operate literally like a religion. Everybody in that company, everybody in those big corporations, they have to follow the philosophy, they have to follow the value and direction of the company. That's why Japanese employees, if you have noticed, they're very loyal to their companies. And because it's that kind of doctrination, that kind of beliefs the company built into the employees. Do you ever see that in Vietnam? Vietnamese employees just want to complain all day long. That's why in Japan, they can build these massive, huge organizations. They can create massive organizations that dominate the world. The auto industry is the biggest in the world. The electronics industry is the biggest in the world. There's a reason for it, because they cracked management and leadership. They make sure the employees, they make sure the team follows the company value and direction. And they have rules that people in the organization they cannot break. Some people ask Masatoshi, what exactly is GMOism? Like, what rules do you have in this religion? And Masatoshi generally don't share that information. He says to the press that this is confidential information. He doesn't want to share it. But through various sources, we know that GMOism is a collection, a combination of motivational messages, motivation, mindset again, teaching their employees certain mindset, strategic instructions, how to achieve certain results. There are strategic instructions in the GMO Bible. They actually have a Bible. Also, this is very important. They have prophecies in this Bible, just like the real Bible has prophecies. In this prophecy in the GMO Bible, they say they will bring internet to everyone in the next 30 years. It's a very clear message. The company's purpose is to bring the internet to everyone within 30 years. Very clear. The message is very clear. And people who work for Masatoshi in GMO Internet believes that mission, believes in that prophecy. That's why they work their ass off, because they believe in that future. And this is very important. You don't want people that don't believe in the company to work for you. And Masatoshi, like most Japanese organizations, the big ones, they have a mission statement. They have a way to communicate with the employees where they want to be, why they exist. And that forms the GMO Bible, that forms the GMO religion. And the people who work there treat it like a cult, treat it like a religion. They believe in these things. It's like a fucking cult. One of the rules in the GMO Bible, amazingly, is called change begins with the mind. Oh my, that sounds like thought becomes reality, doesn't it? Change begins with the mind. If you want to change something, you have to change your mind. That's actually in the GMO Bible. And everybody in that company must believe this. If they don't, fuck off. Another religious principle that's in the GMO Bible is that they have to make everything beautiful and cool. So basically, perfectionism instill in the mind of the employees that they must make everything perfect. That's also in their Bible. There are also other rules that are more details-oriented. For example, employees cannot make a PowerPoint presentation with font less than 24, size 24. That's a rule. That's a rule in the GMO Bible. You cannot use fonts less than size 24 in your PowerPoint presentation. Another rule that's more details-oriented is that multiple choice questions must have even number of answers. So you cannot have 3, you cannot have 5. You can have 4 and 6. These are minor details in the GMO Bible, in the religion, that everyone in the company must follow. If you don't follow, they don't want you. What happens if employees don't believe in the religion? Masatoshi is very clear about that. He only wants people who follow the company, religion, Bible, value, and direction. If the employee disagrees, he wants them to get out. Simple as that. That's leadership. You only want people like-minded working towards the same goal, to work in your company. If everybody's going in different directions, if everybody's trying to figure out how to do less work, you think that's going to be a great company? So I wish there's more of that in Vietnam. I don't know if Vingroup operates like that. I think Vingroup is probably one of the largest Vietnamese private enterprise. It is the largest. There must be some of that there. What about VNG? I hear there's a little bit of that in VNG. I want to see more of that in Vietnamese big enterprises. Vietnam has so much potential. It's about how we motivate and give people mission and purpose, and that's how we build big, huge organizations. First of all, you gotta get your employees believe in the values and directions of your company. If they don't, get them fuck out. Get their fucking ass off the team, because they can't help you and you can't help them. What is GMO's current plan? What's Masatoshi's current plan? Their current plan is by 2051. They are going to create a 10 trillion yen company, and that's about 95 billion US dollars, I believe. They are going to build a company, an organization with 207 CEOs. So big, ambitious goals. Are they gonna make it? I believe so, because they have a strong, inspirational, motivational leader that doesn't take shit. If you don't follow, you get the fuck out. And that works. That works for any organization, but you gotta have strong leaders. I will share the link below so you can learn more about GMO, Internet, and Masatoshi. Masatoshi is not a famous guy. You're not gonna find a lot of information about him. If you go search for him, you'll find a lot of quarterly reports and shit. It does not diminish his accomplishment. He's actually a very successful entrepreneur. He just doesn't make a lot of YouTube videos. He focuses on his business, and he builds his company like a fucking religion, like a fucking cult. Take some fucking action. how to motivate your organization to operate like a cult. That is the secret to organizational success. Don't be a fucktard.